Born in Salford to a 16-year-old mother, became one of the few black firefighters in Greater Manchester, faced racism from day one, created a boxing club which became world recognised, arrested for £6 million worth of drugs, found unanimously not guilty, resigned, rebuilt a life abroad, became a diving instructor, a father, a carer, returned years later and told to try again. Tonight's not about fire engines. It's about belonging. It's about erasure. It's about what happens when you serve a system that doesn't serve you back. Curtis, are we there yet?
Are we there yet? Are we?
Are we? Well, welcome to the show, Curtis McLardie.
Thank you for that introduction.
No problem, man. It's a story that people need to hear. There's been a lot happening. You've told me briefly some stuff in your journey, fire station, the boxing, the racism and so forth. And I feel like it's a story that a lot of people can relate to, regardless of what industry you work in. I feel like people of colour can relate to this, regardless. So I feel like, you sharing your story will highlight a lot of systematic racism, which happens again in all different factions and industries in life.
Definitely.
So starting off, before we get into it, relax, be yourself, be comfortable, water here, sweets, and we'll say to everyone, just be yourself, relax and just be yourself. I'm going to ask you some deep questions. Just be yourself and tell all.
Let's go. Let's see what we can do.
So I'm born in 1976, Salford.
Single year. It was supposed to be a hot year, 76.
76, a hot year.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a hot one. I was coming.
16-year-old mother.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like, your childhood?
Like I say, growing up in Salford, grew up on Silk Street, so it's very much near town. High-rise buildings, a little bit like Seven Sisters in Old Trafford. Was poor. Was very poor. My mum conceived 15, had me at 16. My dad was 17. He was from Salford, Cheetham Millish areas. Actual growing up in Salford, the only things I can remember is things like having a tortoise.
You had a tortoise?
Yeah, on the green grasses in front of, the flats and things like that, or, things like my grandma used to say, don't go past that building over there, that's where Jack the Ripper lived. You know what I mean? So there was like, the chip shop, the pubs, the smelly dogs, the smell of bacon being cooked for breakfast in the mornings and things like that. Not really got too much of a memory of Salford, but then we moved out of my grandmother's place, which my grandmother did a lot for me. She really looked out for me. But her and my mum could never really get on. There was always a lot of friction. So, we left there young and was like going from house to house. You know what I mean? And in the 70s, being mixed race, not just being black.
Yeah.
Being mixed race, you was pushed out from black people, you pushed out from white people. So everywhere we were going, I'm sure, the frustration of my mother, doors being shut all the time. So, it's quite a busy time, because I remember being in a lot of places. I just have memories of different places all the time, or aunties and things like that. I don't really have any concrete, I wasn't there for long enough, most probably. You know what I mean?
Big family? Siblings?
Well, I've got two sisters with my mum. Yeah. And then on my dad's side, I've got 2 brothers and a sister. One of my brothers was adopted at an early age. And yeah, I'm the oldest.
Busy household or?
Well, no, because like, again, single parent mother, there was me, had playing Big Brother, man of the house,
Yeah.
Chef, everything in the house.
Chef.
You know what I mean? Yeah, everything, babysitter, everything. And then we had, at 9, I had my first sister. And then I think it was at 14 or 15, the next sister came. So up until they came along, the house wasn't that busy other than with my mum's friends. You know what I mean? Because, my mum was young. So, of course, in her late teens, early 20s, she's, very social. So the house was busy that way. But as far as children and all of that, siblings, because like I never met my stepbrother or one of the brothers, and I met my sister just after I joined the fire service.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I briefly knew her when I was about 5 or 6, but it was one of these complicated situations where my mum would say, "That's your sister," but you can't say anything. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then I must have said something. I was like, we was playing and like, "Oh, you're my sister." And then from that day, it was just like, I've never seen her again.
Yeah.
And, I'm talking like when I was 6 till 26. I never seen her. I heard all about her, but never seen her.
Damn.
It's only like when I got into the fire service and then I had this high profile case that her boyfriend was like, "Yo, this is Curtis, this is your brother," you know what I mean? After him listening to her stories or whatever. So yeah, I didn't meet her until very late on in life. Yeah.
Moving from house to house, how does instability shape a child?
Fucking doesn't, mate. Seriously, it doesn't. It's just a lot of emotion and a lot of trauma. And even though looking back on, let's say the beatings or whatever, you know that your parent was going through a lot.
Yeah.
They were traumatized, and, you can easily just take it out on the most vulnerable thing in the room. Sometimes I was that, you know what I mean? And it rolls with you forever. The only thing that I can always say when I'm explaining those situations, and it can get quite emotional, is that my main thing that kind of keeps me sane is that it stops here. It doesn't move on to my kids.
Yeah.
Even though, you might have your little outbreak or whatever, it's nowhere near going to be anything like what I experienced. And I'm going to try and shelter those type of experiences away from your kids. It's got to stop somewhere, So I try hard in doing that, because it really played its part in my life. Trying to lock all the trauma in one room, and the fucking doors being kicked off sometimes. You know what I mean? But yeah, still trying to deal with it. It's just one of those journeys. Got to see it to the end, but you got to be willing.
That's it, man.
And I'm willing. So, if there's anybody out there and I've wronged you, I'm sorry. I'm trying to make amends. I'm trying to be the best person that I can be, and, try to be a good role model. You know what I mean? So it's like the issue within the fire service, that where it all started. You know, I was kind of like shocked at how are people getting away with this. There's no way I'm going to let it pass me.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
Fire,
Yeah.
But growing up in my side in the 80s and the 90s, what was it really like?
Fun.
Fun.
Yo, man, it was so fun. Parks, road, playing football. Just on every corner, something was going on. I remember, people coming out with the lino, break dancing on the corners. The colour, the vibrancy.
The colour.
Yeah, people, just the colour that people were wearing. We're very grey now, aren't we?
That's what I mean.
We're very grey. I love colour. So, if that's what I would say, I remember them days, colour, mate. Colour, definitely. And like where I lived outside the football ground.
Main road.
Yeah, I lived on Kippat Street, facing Claremont Road School. So I'd never had far to go to school. I could just, literally get up 5 minutes before and, I'm at the school gates.
With that, were you ever late?
I was always late. I don't know how. But again, this kind of, when you're trying to educate yourself about yourself, and then you go on like these little courses, or you watch a certain video and they say, why the people that were late, why are they late? Because they had this, that, and that trauma in their life, and da. And when I go down those rabbit holes, it's like I'm always ticking every frigging box. Yeah, I remember I did that. Yeah, so even all of that, even getting here today, I made sure that I'm not going to be late, but I'll be on time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And right now, over the past 3 or 4 years that I've kind of really been working on myself, I find it that I create time, so I'm really never late.
Okay. Being one of the few black boys at Claremont Road, Seymour Park, when did you first experience racism?
Boy, racism has always been, like I tell you, it's been like your stable diet. It's always been in my life. And
from before then?
Huh?
From before then, or?
Yeah, even being in Salford, like some of the things that my mum would tell me about. Not to say that I actually experienced it, but even like we're going back afterwards, and because I'd always be at my grandma's house. You would get racism in the neighborhood. But like my worst racism came from black people.
Yeah.
Seriously. Black people.
I've heard that a lot,
Yeah. And it was, like when you look into the slavery movement or the history of black people, and how the dark ones were pitted against the light ones, and then you got these terms like house niggers and field, all of these things. You can see where this comes from. I can understand why it's there. I'm not happy that it's there. I'm not happy that I'm going through this, but I can understand why it's there. But this is what I experienced. Some of the worst, our most memorable, were from black people. Especially as being young. I've been to Jamaica 5 times. I ain't got family there, but was brought up Rasta. So I was going there because we've got a community. Within the community, I don't think, to tell you the truth, in the Rasta community, no, I never really got any racism or felt any racism. But in the outsider, black, Caribbean, African community, definitely.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
that was like a bit of a boomerang, innit? I'm like, your racism in Claremont Road School, you're like, Claremont Road? Nah, got racism from way before. Like,
Yeah. It's just been one of those things, because as mixed race people, they are kind of like the new kids on the block, aren't they?
Yeah.
You know, since like the 70s, 80s, you know, it's like there has been an explosion, and you know, you've got all of these mixtures of cultures as well. You know, it's not just Irish, African, or Scottish, Jamaican, or Caribbean. Now it's everything.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Danish.
But still, the black and white mix still stands out.
Yeah.
As in, you know, and everywhere you go in the world, you know, like I could be walking a beach tomorrow and somebody will like, oh, where are you from? And I say, I'm British, I'm from England.
Where you really from?
No, but where are you from?
Yeah, where you really from?
Yeah, and like, you know, they really want to dig deep, because like the curiosity is there, you know, there is something behind it. But yeah, it is what it is.
What did masculinity look like in my side growing up?
I was surrounded by nothing but women.
Oh, really?
Women all the time. And, you know, because I was the cute kid, yeah, you know, did the all want me, you know what I mean? Or take me places, or, you know, I'd be in somebody's hand going somewhere. And I think because my mum was young, I think the freedom to like, oh, right, somebody's going to babysit my child now. Or, you know, or I can get a little bit of freedom here, or I can go on holiday here, you know, because there's many a time once been on holiday and they're like, oh, she's coming back? Oh, she's there for 6 weeks, or there for 4 weeks.
Right,
I'm staying with Auntie. I don't like Auntie.
I can relate to that, I'll tell you.
So, you know, it's like, there wasn't many, let's say, positive and consistent male role models in my life. Even my dad, you know, and I totally understand why he did it. He got to a certain age where he just had to leave England totally.
Oh, leave England?
Yeah, and totally change his lifestyle. You know, because again, he was coming up in the streets, and you know, maybe he didn't want it for me, so he got himself out of the way and didn't want to be a street role model. Which he ended up doing something really positive. You know, he's a professional photographer, and you know, traveled the world. You know, really high level. So, yeah, I never had, other than like in the organisation of Rasta, never really had any positive role models.
Did you ever feel pressure to choose between community identity and success?
Community identity and success. I think for me, those go together. Where I think if you have a good social and communal identity, there's nothing going to be but success. So I never had to, let's say, drop one to kind of, you know, elevate. And I think they synonymously, they kind of come together. So I've always wanted to be, you know, like a community worker, and I have done loads of things within the communities from a young age. I think the first thing I ever started doing was I was an art assistant at Nella James when I was about 8 years old.
Nella James.
Yeah, with Wally Range. There was a gentleman there, I can't remember his name, but he kind of appreciated that I was a good artist at a young age, because being on my own, you know, I used to do a lot of things that alone people do, writing, doodling, and you know what I mean. So art was something that I really enjoyed. So then I assisted him in his class that he put on for the community. And the class was like, some of the people were older than me, but he's asking me to come and assist him, for me, to assist them. And it was a good relationship. And I think, that was my first community encounter or engagement. And that kind of like spurred on to, just trying to do anything within my organization or in my local area. So, whether it would be, putting on dances, selling stuff locally to create awareness, doing sponsorships. So like I wanted to do skydiving for, for sickle cell and things like that. Within the fire service itself as well, I did a lot of charity work, doing running marathons, going and delivering projects within Manchester, my local area, whether that would be, to educate people on how to use a defibrillator, for heart.
Yeah.
To, putting on open or car boot or open markets, a wide range of things I would do. If there's a space and I've got the energy, I've got the time, I'll easily help somebody create a success out of it.
Why did you join the fire service?
That was a trip. I was working in where was it? St. Anne's Square. Okay. I was working in a place called Woodhouse. You had Life, Woodhouse, Flannels. They were like the top shops.
I remember Flannels at the back.
Right.
Near the church.
We were before Flannels even. Yeah. So we had all of the top labels, the Armani, Bosses, CP, Stone Island, all of that, because they had stores in London, because I used to have to go out there and work. They had 5 of the stores in London. So I worked there from, when was it? I think it was 95, 96, because I worked there for about 3 years. And one of the guys was coming in who had applied for the fire service, went on the training course, which was 3.5 months, and then became a firefighter. You know what I mean? So every weekend or every weekend or every other day or whatever, he'd pass by the shop, because one of his best mates was a guy who worked in the shop. So I would hear these stories secondhand. And then, I get to ask a couple of questions sometimes.
London.
So he kind of, and he was a black guy.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And he kind of inspired me to apply. So I heard that they were applying, got the application form, but to tell you the truth, I was just totally illiterate at that point. I couldn't read, write, what, you know what I mean? I was crap. I left school, I couldn't even read, to tell you the truth. You know what I mean? But that's all trauma and things like that. So, like, I asked my step auntie across the road to come in, because she was boss. She went grammar school and all of that. So I said, right, you come do my application form for me, or help me fill this out, because I really want to get in this fire service. I really, this is something I definitely want to do.
What made you want to really get into it?
This guy,
him, not no London's burning or nothing.
No. Because I'm thinking, I like to work for the community, yeah. And this was, a job with good reputation, good community stature, and things like that. People have a lot of respect for firefighters. But I didn't grow up with this burning intention of I want to run in and out of buildings. No, I just heard the stories sounded great. I appreciated the person who was telling the stories, and I thought, why not? You know what I mean? So I applied. I got on the first application, I got to an interview. And, you know, they said, yeah, we'd love to offer you a job.
Nice.
That day was like one of the most memorable days of my life. I literally walked home from city centre Manchester, buzzing, like I was king of the world, honestly. When they said, yeah, you've passed your interview and that. But then what happened after that was they later wrote to me, I think it was about 2 or 3 months afterwards, you know, I've put my life on hold. I'm going to be a fireman. You know what I mean? So I'm not doing anything I don't need to do. I need to just work on getting fit, stop smoking as well. Yeah. And get into this fire service because this is going to be hard. So that was my focus. But then 2 or 3 months later, they said that they couldn't honour their decision.
Why?
And I was like, what? You made me do the application, done it, boom. Did all the things that I needed to do, you know, on the open days, passed those, smashed it. Do the interview, smashed it. Kurt, well, you know, got the golden handshake and all of that. I said, there's no way. I'm not going through all of that again. So, you know, my mum being a little activist that she is as well, we got speaking to a friend of ours who was a solicitor as well. And they read over what had happened and then just basically says, no, you can't do this. So we wrote out a load of complaints. And then basically, after all the rambling and arguments, they put a course on. Because I think at the time that the government was going through some funding problems with regards to the fire, police, and the army. I think the budgets were being reduced, so then they were cutting training as one of the main things. So they wasn't recruiting anybody. So the recruitment stopped, but then they put on a course because I supposedly complained or whatever. So I got on a course in 98. And the course was 3.5 months, and that was on training centre in the middle of Manchester.
From there, you got the job.
From when you go on training centre, you've got the job.
Oh, okay.
You can't really fail. You know what I mean? Even though I never passed a single exam, because there was exams every week. It's not that I didn't have the ability. I more than had copious amounts of ability. You know, I could think on the spot. I could act really quickly. I just couldn't read.
You couldn't read?
Yeah. You know, just and like I was kind of like diagnosed with having dyslexia as well. But with my upbringing and trauma around the reading was just a really, really big problem for me, you know. So it kind of let me down a lot with exam situations because I'm not even reading the question properly. Yeah. So how can I formulate a proper answer?
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. Dexterity stuff, physical stuff, you know, putting stuff together. Well, I do that with my eyes closed. But that was, when it came to exams, I was always fearful that I just was never good enough.
Did you see yourself with a representation?
Representation of
someone in the community? Like.
Yeah, of course. I'm always repping. You know what I mean? I like to be feeling like I am always repping. So, you know, I'm on my best behavior. I want to be looking like a role model, you know what I mean, type of thing. So with being on the, going through that process, most definitely I was repping my side. I was repping for all of the black men out there, all the black boys coming up. You know, I certainly wanted to be a positive role model.
And when you started the training course in 1998, you had 3.5 months of racism. What happened?
Well, it started off just like there was 30, so I think 34 candidates, and I was the only black guy or only mixed race guy. Yeah. There was no other black guy there. There was no ladies there. There wasn't any Indian or any people of any other colour there. It was us white. You know what I mean? A lot of the officers were white. The whole training centre was white. So even the dinner ladies, you know, everything about it, even if the dog was walking past, it was white. You know what I mean? So you certainly felt that, you know, and you was very aware of it. But yeah, you're still in the middle of Manchester city centre.
Yeah.
You know, as soon as you step out on that road, Wing Yip's right there. You know what I mean? And North Manchester, you know, the Northern Quarter, as we know it today, is there. Which, you know, straight away you're in a melting pot again. But within that confines of those walls, no, this was us typical British culture. Or English, sorry, not British, English culture. You know, so yeah, you certainly stuck out like a sore thumb. And then you was always the first direct, you know, jokes were always directed about your race or your blackness or where you came from, or is your people like this, or are the girls like that, or you know, so it was always things.
Are the girls like this?
Things like that. Oh, the black girls have got big bums.
Oh.
And, you know, there's just the typical stuff. Like what I've always said, I don't understand banter.
Yeah.
I ain't got a frigging clue. You know what I mean? I spent most of my time on my own. So I wasn't talking to nobody but myself. So now to be in a group of people's talking about what they talk about, which wasn't my cup of tea, and I didn't find a lot of things appropriate. You know, I was kind of distanced even in that sense, you know, from the community sense of being a firefighter on a station with all of these other guys. We're all there doing a service. We should have some kind of community. Banter just kind of broke a lot of that ties between these people, you know. Not to say that the people weren't nice people individually on their own. They were all right. But once you get in a group setting, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is what it is. You know, the small fat guy with spots, he's gonna get it. You know what I mean? He's gonna be the butt of everybody's jokes. So that's what I was on a daily basis. Whether I'd be stood in line, you know, and I'm holding a piece of equipment, and you know, they'd turn around and say, "Oh, what's that got to do with Curtis?" Be like, "What? I'm holding a spade."
Oh.
You know, stupid things like that.
Yeah, that's just,
you know what
racism,
I mean?
that mate. That's,
But they were the everyday stuff.
That's gonna handle.
You know what I mean? And you know, you either laugh it off or you swallow it, and it's like swallowing that pill of emotion.
Yeah.
And you know, what's that going to manifest into? And many a times, you know, it manifested into something horrible. You know what I mean? So sometimes, you know, you had to just kind of laugh certain things off.
Well, start similar to Curtis, spade. Imagine.
You know what I mean? You know, because we're dealing with smoke. You know, we're dealing with smoke. Guys are coming out black. You know what I mean? Oh, you all look like, you get me? And it's just, that was just the everyday stuff. Never mind the malicious stuff that they tried to do.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, you've got to, you have to overcome your fears. So climbing up to the top of a ladder, or going over, you know, we had those vehicles where they had a ladder.
Yeah.
And there's water on that ladder. And you got to walk up it. You got to climb over the knuckle. And nowadays you wouldn't be able to do this without having all of these 3 points of contact. Yeah. No, you're doing this without all of that. Nah, go and do it again. Nah, you didn't do it properly. Go do it again.
Yeah.
And, you know, this is, you know, being 100 feet up in the air when it's windy as well. I remember when I first went to station, or this is when we went to Stretford, always windy around there. And you used to, all right, pitch up to the building. Right, Kurt, go on, you walk up there. And it's blowing. Man, you don't fall. You know what I mean?
If you know whole
the other guys didn't have to do this.
No.
Because you know, you have your probationary periods where, you know, you've got maybe 2 years once you get off training centre to go, and you've got to pass all of these modules and things like that for 2 years. So every station or every watch on the station would get one. So then that would be like the T-boy for that watch. So, you know, you got to do everything. You know, you've got to answer questions on the spot. You know, you've got to be, you know, presentable all the time to what you think, not what is the standard, what you think as you are the leader of this group. You know, there was so many dynamics to the culture and just like the small groups. You know, every it's like, how many gangs did we have in Manchester? Yeah, we had Moss Side, we had Old Salford.
Yeah.
Right. Imagine having them all in here, yeah, for 9 hours every day. And then you've got to come in and pass these people. And sometimes you might have to work, you're on the Moss Side gang, you might have to go and work with the Cheetham Hill gang. Because one of those have gone on holiday and, you know, it's your turn to go out. So now you're sitting with people that you don't know, or you know that they don't like you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or even if you don't know that going there, you're certainly going to find out when you get there. Like how many stations I've gone to when I passed out. Passed out as I mean, you know, got off training centre. Every station that I went to, that wasn't my station, even though I got a lot of crap on my station. Everyone that I went to, 9 times out of 10, I'm there for maybe 9. If it was a nighttime one, 15 hours, that was worse. Because I'd get there, we do the checks, which is like the first hour. Then maybe they'd hang around for another half an hour. Then I won't see nobody until we need to go out or until we're leaving in the morning to go home.
Yeah.
They won't, you know, they just scarper and leave.
Damn, man.
You know what I mean? Or if people would make comments, you know, you're the guy that got my friend out. I'd be like, yo, your friend said what he said. It's got nothing to do with me.
What do you mean got him out?
Well, on just during the passing out parade that week, the deputy chief
That was going to be
of the fire service.
Yeah, he said he would rather be gay than black.
Yeah.
Like, what does that moment do?
Well, this is now at the end of, the training center period. So I've already done 3 months of all of this racism every day, and being pulled back to do stuff, extra duties and things like that. So I've had that for the last 3 months. So this was like the icing on the cake. So we're in this room. All the seats are pitched. I can't remember, like an auditorium.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can see people clearly. It's like one of our lecture classrooms. And the deputy chief came in. We're all dressed up, all our officials and whatever. And his opening thing was like, "Hi, how you doing?" Yes. Right. Is there any? What was it? Is it? No, it's like, hello, boys and girls. And then there was a laugh, and then he goes, "Is there any girls in the room?" And he goes, "There isn't any." Yeah. And then he goes, "Is there any like homosexuals in the group?" This is like his gambit, his joke. He was like kind of he's working up to. I'm telling you, there's no way. No, but some of the conversations, some of the words, some of the things that were said back then, there's no way you'd be even in a job if you said that. Never mind be investigated, you just wouldn't be in a job. So it's like he's working this thing up. So then he goes, "Is there any lesbians or gays in the group?" All right, you've already asked if there's any women in the group. There are obviously no women, so there's no lesbians. And then he just turned around while he was taking, and this is while he's taking his jacket off, and he's like, "Well, I'd rather be gay than be black."
Just out of nowhere.
Yeah, because this is his build-up. Is there any boys? Is there any girls? Yeah. Is there any lesbians or gays in the group? Well, I'd rather be gay than be black. Now, I had to sit and listen to this bigot for the next hour and a half while he went through his diatribe of how the fire service was formed and how it's such a reputable organization, and how we're so held in such high esteem, and what your possibilities could be and where you can get to within the job, and da 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 da. And he wasn't talking to me. He was talking to the other people that were around me.
Yeah.
And none of them said anything if anything, they laughed along with him.
Yeah, of course.
And I was just, honestly, I just couldn't believe it. I just wanted to get up and literally run down and punch him in his mouth. But, in holding all of that emotion back, honestly, I was in the seat crying.
You were?
In frustration.
Did you think about quitting immediately?
My decision was, and that was even before that, I could have quitted a long time ago because of some of the racist incidences and the things that I had witnessed against other people's in the job whilst they're being on training centre.
Like what?
Like I remember there was a course on before me, or maybe 2 courses before me, and they'd come back for some kind of retraining. Now, I'm in the locker room. The locker room's massive. All I can hear is all of this laughing and joking. And then I'm hearing packy jokes. I'm like, I can't be hearing this. Yeah? So I'm hearing all of this, but I curry, da 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 da. So I went, "What? Say that again." And I'm shouting this out in the locker. Nobody can see me, but I'm making sure that I'm heard. So then I'm walking right, because there's rails of lockers and then there's the showers. So I'm looking now where these guys are. And then I found like five guys and this one Asian guy. And he's just
Asian
like,
guy was there.
yeah. And it's just like, just, you know, laughing away because, you know,
Uncomfortable laugh.
yeah, you can see it, you know what I mean? But it doesn't want to get into it. It just wants an easy life. It just wants,
Back then as well.
yeah. So, you know, I can certainly understand where it was coming from. However, I'm loudmouth. I'm not going to let this stuff down. So, you know, I've just said to them, I says, you know, say that again. Please say it again. And you know, at that point, I'm not into like, I'm going to go and tell such and such about such and such. No, I'm just going to knock you out. You know what I mean? Because I'm really frustrated at this point. You know, every given point of any racist or negative interaction, I'm just bursting into it. I just want to fight. You know what I mean? So, and like I said to the guy himself, I says, yo, don't let this happen. You know, you can't be doing this. You know, you're going to have people coming after you. You're going to be inspiring people within your community. Are you going to welcome this type of attitudes or these type of experiences? You're going to invite that onto your people. It says, nah, we've got to stop this. This has to stop. And if you're laughing along with them, you know, it just seems like it's okay.
Yeah.
It says, no, mate. And I know, you know, when you're that one individual, you know, you're always trying to fit in. But it's like, you know, do you have to sell your soul? I'm like, I ain't selling my soul.
How do you survive when you're the only black man in the room?
By being loud, aggressive, everything that they say that you are. You know what I mean? Everything that they say that you are, that's what you end up being. And you play the role.
This is it, man.
You play the role. But whilst doing that, you know, you are reactional, but you know, if you're doing it with the right reasons, like my reason was, I just didn't want it to happen to anybody else after me. I couldn't believe that some of the black firefighters before
would have gone through that.
Yeah, I know they've gone through that. But, you know, they're going around the back of the fire engine and having a punch up and things like that. You know what I mean? Where really and truly, yes, that deals with that negative feeling there and then, but systematically, governance and all of that, nothing changes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So whereas now, when it came to a head, you know, I was just like, I don't really care for this job. All I'm going to do is get justice, make sure that this doesn't happen to anybody else coming after me. I'm going to try and be the cushion. So then, you know, we ended up with a huge court case because the deputy chief ended up getting paid off from work, made medical...
You got paid off?
Got paid off from work. At that time in 99, he got, I think it was 300 and odd grand.
That's a lot of money back then, man.
Yeah, I know. Wow. He got a lot of money. Basically, got early retirement. So you know, you got that handshake. Basically, you come in the room, yo, this is what you got, or you're gonna just resign. And you can take everything. So he took the easy option. You know what I mean? Who wouldn't? So then I took the fire service to court. And this is all amidst the Daniel Taylor McPherson report and all of that. Yeah, the McPherson report had kind of like just finished. And even that highlighted all of the systemic racism that was within all of the services, never mind just the police. It kind of went out a bit more. So, you know, my case kind of piggybacked on the back of that and used that as, you know, the tombstone law to try and bring the fire service into the 21st century. You know what I mean? By changing their equal opportunities laws and things like that. So in essence, that's what I ended up doing by not going around the back of the fire engine, but actually taking it down a legal route. So that's where we went. It took a while.
Sorry.
You know, burnt bridges that I never even knew I had within the fire service, and that kind of just from then that just carried on as Curtis is the troublemaker, Curtis is the bad guy,
I was just
Curtis
gonna
is this, Curtis is that.
You deemed us the angry guy because he spoke up.
Yeah, I was the black sheep of the fire service. Everybody knew me. Everybody knew me before I got to where I was going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, the amount of mistreatment, but then it was all very cloak and dagger. You know, you've got at least 4 against 1. On the smallest station, 4 people against me, 1. So it doesn't matter what they say. If I say they said it, they didn't say it. And there's 4 of those guys against me.
Yeah. Bit like the police.
Yeah, it was, you know what I mean? Like I remember one time I was in Bolton and I had a problem with one of my co-workers, and we was out on a practice drill in the malls or whatever. We're doing our ropes or whatever, and I think something had happened, and it was quite clear that he was angry and pissed off with me and whatnot. And like I needed a piece of equipment, you know what I mean? And he literally, you know, I'm calling, can I get this piece of equipment? And he's literally thrown metal in a bag in my face and broke my teeth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he was right in front of the officer, and he was just like, and what?
Imagine.
And what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But with my time at Bolton, mate, that was the station of the house.
So what happened from that?
Nothing. Yo, there was a prominent black guy within the fire service when I made my complaint. I don't want to say his name because I don't know. I don't want to get anybody into trouble. But a prominent black guy in the fire service, mixed race as well, yeah, was going on like he was, you know, my uncle type of thing, you know, really buttering me up on training centre and about all of these issues of racism. And he was like my go-to man, you know, because he's a high-ranking officer and he's mixed race. So, you know, he'd come round to my house and things like that and talk to me and tell me, you know, what to do and what not to do. And he was one of them that was sticking the knife in my back.
Yeah.
Because I remember he'd become a area manager, and like I was having problems with my manager and I'd be putting him on paper. Yeah. I walked around with a dictaphone. You know what I mean? Which I got pulled up about that. I got ripped up for that. And basically, I had a whole, because it was also headquarters. It was like East headquarters. You know, you got like 4 headquarters of Manchester. This was East, so you had a lot of white shirts, what we call officers. in the building next door to a fire station. So it was just like, you don't want to be on this station because you're under a microscope. You've got all of these top bods looking down at you and all of that. None of these top bods liked me. They all wanted to get rid of me or find whatever way to get me out of the job. But now this black guy becomes the boss of them all. I remember one time he's called me because I made a complaint, and my complaint was bona fide. They banged to rights, they were banged out of order. Now it goes to him. So he's invited me into the room. And I swear, I'm just to say that he's like there, like I'm looking at you and walking straight to you. And then out the corner of my eye, I can see some guy behind the door, push the door behind, I'll push the door closed. And then now it's an intimidation thing where he's telling me what I can't do. And then I've got this big guy behind me who's another officer. And it's honestly, it was just so much intimidation. You know, you've got to withdraw, you complain, you can, and it was just, you know, they'd just be promising that they're going to make my life hell if I don't retract my statement.
That's him telling you
like that. Yeah.
Wow, man. Oh, man.
And this is where you get, coconut. You know what I mean? He's just signed himself over. But within the service, you know, people are looking out for their final, you know, like their final place. Yeah. Because everything's based on a pension. So you want to end up at the highest so you can get so much money. So, you know, people going up the ranks, it's not because they're good at the job or they want to do something better for the community or No, it's just as it is. It's just about money.
My guy trying to get that 300k.
And then a lot of those guys are in a smaller group that are only lifting up each other. So then you have nepotism. You know, that's your son. Oh, we're going to make sure that he comes through and he gets to be an officer as soon as. Like, I definitely wasn't offered anything. But I could have been something within the fire service, not to say that I didn't want it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't really and truly, I wanted to run the other way. You know what I mean? But yeah, you know, I had some great times within the service, really good times, and a lot of memorable stuff, you know, as in jobs, not just the whole racism thing, like local jobs and things like that. You know, there's some stuff that, you know, just doesn't go away. Like, you know, the trauma of seeing dead people and smelling, you know, skin on fire, and you know what I mean? It is something else. And even, you know, like I've actually dealt with people that I know, which has been some of the worst experiences. Like I remember, you know, we've dug out a lady out of, and this is on Princess Parkway, out of a car. And like, I'm a trauma technician at that time. So I'm kind of directing ambulance, fire, police on when to act, when to move in the respect of when you've got a trapped patient within a car or wherever they're trapped, you know what I mean? So I'm with them. So I'm talking to them, I'm trying to, you know, motivate them to stay with me or stay awake and you know, and you just constantly. And I got there and the lady was alive and we're cutting, we're doing what we're doing. Now we're getting, you know, she's free now, we're getting her into the ambulance. And now I'm having to do CPR.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And, you know, it's traumatic as it is. But then a daughter came into the back of the ambulance. And then just watching that interaction, wow, even on now, it's chills, mate, chills.
Damn, man.
and there's loads of that, because like I worked in my side, and that was busy. You know, we go all the way to Manchester Airport, we do all the Parkway, we do Manchester, we do the hospital. You know, we're at the hospital every day, twice a day. You know what I mean? Yeah, man, it was, you know, a lot of traumatic things, and like those things just don't go away. You got to live with that.
Being stationed at Moss Side, did that feel like destiny?
It was my destiny, definitely, because this is the place where I grew up. This is, you know, I'm riding in front of, you know, all my peers, and yeah, because everybody in the community knew me. I knew everybody. You know, I'd knock on multiple people's houses. You know what I mean? Just walking the streets. So it was a very proud moment, very proud to know that, you know, I can be a role model.
What did it mean to you when people in the community called you the fireman?
Fire, that was my name, Fire. And it, you know, you do have that badge of honor, you know, and, you know, they're calling you out because you're not the biggest drug dealer on the street, or, you know, you got a flash car, you know, because you're actually serving the community. I can't see anything better than that, you know, and even for them, it's all positive. So they've been saying the same thing. Yeah, I was elated, and it was where I wanted to go anyway. You know, I wanted to be in the heart of my side. I think at that time, as any new recruit, wanted to go to a busy station. And Moss Side, Manchester, Salford, yeah, they were the busiest stations, and that's where anybody wanted to go to, because you wanted to do jobs. Really.
Got any other stations that's what sat around doing nothing?
Not sat around doing nothing, but it wasn't
just a waiting game.
Yeah. Like, of a day we could get 10 shouts, so we'd go out 10 times, where other station would go out 2. You know what I mean? We'd actually go to incidences where we're actually doing stuff. They might just go out to a fire alarm and go back home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Different areas create different scenarios. But Moss Side was in the middle of all scenarios. So it was great. You know what I mean? Like that run all the way up to Manchester Airport on your blues and twos, on the back of a fire engine, it's going up and down, you're trying to get all your gear on and all of that stuff, and it's, and they're really pushing it, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's adrenaline,
like,
you know, it's
like fire engine swinging down the pole, like, yeah, get stuff on.
Yeah,
let's go. You know, and the movies are backdrafting.
We were playing up to that.
Do you remember that movie?
Yeah,
I bet you did.
Of course. I wouldn't say that it inspired me to be a fireman, but, you know, it was certainly a good movie. It is.
Did you feel, were you bridging 2 worlds, or were you caught between them?
I think I kind of like always, I'm not right, I'm not left. You know what I mean? I'm always pitched in the middle of kind of like really whatever I'm doing. So, you know, like I'll be going to do my legal job, and then I'm going to sit down with the man who doing all of the wrong things in life. But they're my boys, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? That's how it is. So yes, I was bridging ideology. Was I bridging anything within the community other than now the fire station being a place where people could actually knock on the door and actually come in, or actually say that there's somebody there that I know. You know what I mean? So, yes. Or, you know, if I'm out there cleaning in front of the fire station, you know, yo, Kurt, yo, yeah. You know what I mean? So, yes, I would say that building, and I'm sure, you know, there's other firefighters before me that certainly did that as well. We made that building not invisible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Feel like a superstar, like, you know.
You get me?
The fireman.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you're the fire, why did you not call me? Did you feel embraced by Amber Watch in a way where you weren't elsewhere?
Yes.
Yeah.
Was it Amber Watch? Amber Watch. Yeah. Because we had 4 watches, and then because of influx of trainees, we ended up going to 5 watches. So then they created Amber Watch. I was on Green Watch beforehand. But yeah, reminiscently, Amber Watch was certainly built up of great people. Because we're kind of like all, you know, we are all of the similar age group. Our leader at the time, Carson, what a guy. You know, he just had the best of everything. And the thing is, we was all, even though, you know, banter, we'd always take the piss out of each other. We
no
always...
Spades, though, no spades.
No. And like, there was another mixed race guy on my watch. You know what I mean? And I was older than him. And, you know, I think in many ways, I remember the first day I came, you know, he had heard so much about me, and I'm trying to put things in my locker. And he was just like in awe. I just felt like I was a king. And
I feel like I know him, like without saying his name.
Huh?
I feel like I know who you're speaking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bit of a ginger guy.
Oh, I think I used to work with him. Like, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So like when I first came with all my stuff, you know, he was there, and he was like, you know, he kind of made me feel like I was important. So I certainly felt embraced by my watch. I was hated by the rest of them, and they made it perfectly clear. You know, many of them would just tell you to your face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, well, I don't like you.
Yeah, I don't like you. You know what I mean? And just, you know, you shouldn't be here.
Wow.
You know what I mean? I've even down to the cleaners. They would tell you, why don't you go home? You know what I mean? Serious.
Yeah.
Honestly, in the confines of those walls, things were said that now would just instantly,
Why don't you go home?
You'd be gone. And the people were hiding what they were saying. You know, if you don't remember in Bolton, what's it? The dinner lady says, if you don't like what we've got, you can go back to your own country and see if you can get any better, or some crap like that. Oh, because I was a vegetarian. You know what I mean? Just simple things like that.
Go back to your own country and see if you like any better.
And listen.
Oh man.
So yeah.
What did community intervention mean to you personally?
Make my community as best that I could. Service, give as much service as you can to your community. Fill the holes, fill the gaps. And don't be afraid of trying. So, you know, I started like a community intervention from Claremont Road. I don't know if you remember Team Bash. where we was putting on nights for teenagers on Claremont Road.
From you and me.
Yeah. And, you know, we'd do this like Friday, Saturday night, once a month.
Okay.
We even ended up taking kids, because we joined up with kids in London from our HQ down there, Rasta. So we was taking kids down there. So we was creating all of these opportunities just through music, and just also because there was a lot of crime at the time, and we wanted to try and get the kids off the streets. This was a time when we had, was it Drop the Knife campaign? No, Mothers Against Violence.
Oh, yeah.
It was around about them times. Because I actually got some of their T-shirts and everybody was wearing them. So, you know, like there's little things like that, or like I've done a community market, you know, within the fire service, do small community projects to create awareness, you know, around fire safety, health. I've always been, let's say, a personal trainer or group trainer. So I would put on classes every now and again. I actually worked in Vida at the bottom of, in Wally Range Girls' School. There was a gym at the back of there with all the basketball players, Manchester Giants and all of that. Yeah. So yeah, I used to work in there. So I used to do a lot of community classes in there. Worked with G Camp.
Yeah.
Michael Embrack. Again, big face in the community. You know, so I was like one of his instructors. So I'd teach all the kids. So we'd be all over the place within the community, because he never had an actual building. He went to different places to put on classes. So we was always in front of the community, you know what I mean? And I was willing to do anything.
Let's talk about the birth of the boxing club. Where did the idea come from?
From when I think it was about 2003, me and a friend of mine, a gentleman called Horace Jones, who's the game changer at the moment.
No, Horace.
Yeah, a good guy. And he's doing a lot of good things. Me and him were working together. We was putting on classes, and then we actually created a youth provision for all of these kids that were kicked out of school, which is I don't know what you call it now. But yeah, all of these kids were basically being expelled from school. So we would take these kids for 3 or 4 days of the week and actually teach them MVQ qualifications. So what we was doing, it was in citizenship. Well, citizenship at that time was a big thing.
Yeah, I remember.
You know what I mean? And you get a lot of funding for it as well. So we
actually used to do a lot with it.
Right, yeah. So we went down that road. So we'd have these kids for like 5 to 7 hours a day, do half of classroom work, half fitness. So we bought all of this equipment. We had a ring, we had bags, we had everything. And then the building was closing down. And everything was going because, you know, redevelopment, regeneration. This mill was turning now into a block of flats. So we had no choice. We had to get out. We had nowhere to put the stuff. So I asked my station manager at the time, I says, because also, just rewind back a bit, I was also running the cadets at the fire service.
Okay.
So I was steering that. And where the cadets was in an engine house just across the way from the fire station. So it's a standalone building, and it could house like 3 or 4 fire engines in there. It was that big. And we was literally using a quarter of it for the cadets. So I said, is it possible, can I just put all this equipment in the engine house and just leave it there, and I'll get rid of it in the next month? And he's like, yeah, no problem. So that's how it got there. Now, whilst it was there, Amber Watch would be like, oh, what does that look like? Oh, that'd look good there. Oh, so then we were bouncing ideas off each other, because it really and truly, it was our creation, Amber Watch. So we ended up putting up the boxing ring, putting up whatever other bits of equipment, and kind of like, because we were all of the same age, we was very fitness conscious. So, you know, with my equipment and with the other bits of stationary equipment, we could create these really good routines and work. You know, it was really good. So it kind of grew from there. And then I was like, right, I'm already doing Thai boxing. I'm already, you know, working in this gym over there. I'm already doing this over there. Right, let me create a provision for the kids around here. Oh, no, the whole community. Let's get them all in here. And that's how it started. So then, you know, the fire service, after me talking to my manager, he was like all over this. He was like, yeah, this is going to be great. Boom, boom, boom. It was like a yes, yes, yes. And he then invited 1 or 2 other people down, which was Nigel Travis and Matt Dillon, who then went on to us being a 3-way, started pushing boxing, started pushing ABA boxing, because Nigel's father was an ABA, or was big in the game of boxing. So, you know, it was best that we went down the ABA route and whatever. So we did what we did. It became an ABA boxing, official ABA boxing camp. And the fire service really embraced it.
Did management understand what you were doing, what you were building?
They certainly did. I don't think they really understood how big it would be or what the impact would be. I didn't think that because remember at that time, community interventions or any newer interventions from an organization was always a good thing, to try and get into the communities or try and offer more services. Or
Good point you're making about the community, getting into the community. Were Nigel and Matt ever embedded in the community the way you were?
No. Nigel, yes, he worked at my side, but he's from the other side of Manchester, and he's originally from London, down south. Matt Dillon, he lived in Charlton, but he was stationed in Withington. But no, they had nothing in common with the community, and didn't have any inroads within the community. If they would shout anything, nobody would be listening. You know what I mean?
When you ran down the parkway gathering people, what were you trying to prove?
Proving to myself anything can be done. Proving to others that it can be done and done easily. And to tell you the truth,
say others, who are you speaking of?
Like others that most probably didn't, let's say, see the vision or didn't like the idea that I was creating another boxing club in such a short radius. And you know, this I've never really doubted the ability of getting people and getting the community in there. I just think, as I thought, fitness was kind of raising up in people's minds that we've got to be more fitter, and you know, after all of the heart attack information that came out after America and whatnot, people are actually getting more health conscious. Like for me, I was doing a lot of classes and things like that within the community, but there were certain parts or certain sections of the community that you would never see. You know what I mean? Like the disabled peoples, the elderly peoples, some mothers and parents that brought the kids over to the classes. They didn't have, or you wouldn't see them in classes, where I was kind of like pitching to them. I wanted everybody within it because, you know, with it being a fire station, it was also a safe place within my side. It was a neutral spot. And also, once people got on the station, they knew they couldn't mess around. You know, we only ever had one incident where, it kind of became a gang thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, where we was dealing with, again, these truancy or kids who have been kicked out. And one day, one kid had been kicked out of school or whatever, bit of a bad kid, and he's in the area now. And the man them in the area get word that he's in the area, he's at the boxing, and then they come to the station. And this is where I had to, you know, because I'm a local lad, you know, certain people understand who I am.
Yeah.
So it I can kind of like get in between, mediate between two people. Whereas, you know, the two of the white guys are like running around like headless chickens. Yo, they're coming in with all sorts, and you know, so yeah. It was a mad time when we started.
Did you feel ownership?
In the first years, before I went to start my life in Spain, yeah, I felt ownership, but I
built it.
I knew that there was signs that they were trying to erode my involvement from early.
And with your setup as well.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it was my setup. Like I would always say, yo, me and my watch.
Yeah,
did this, and
yes.
You
had it, you know, with your equipment you brought there, if it weren't for you, coming there, leaving your equipment, having a conversation with your watch, setting it up, etc., letting the management see it, then get a vision for it, it would never have happened.
Yeah, I'm certainly the spark.
If you didn't go out there and bring the community into it, it most definitely wouldn't have happened. So, you know, obviously you're going to feel ownership, and not even feel ownership. There is ownership because you did own it.
You
built it. You built it. Like it's like
I did actually own the equipment because even the fire service at a certain time, they paid me off.
See, like, exactly.
And it was encouraged also by, you know, my partners at the time, because, you know, one or two had their own ulterior motives. And yeah, everything was, you know, get this guy out the way, and then everything to those two, and everything flourishes, and you know, and it's not like even they set out to do well. One of them, it was a kind of like a bit like that, but I don't think they set out to do that. The management was already doing it. They were sowing out those seeds, you know. Like even in the earlys, I don't know if you ever heard of Reclaim. It was another black boy project that started in the Urbis, and
Jeez. In town.
Ibed Boona was the name. The lady who put it on.
I think the name sounds familiar. I think I might even have been there before with school or college.
Right.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah. So, at that time, I was starting the boxing club up. I was actually working with them through the fire service, being, like a positive black role model, because we had all of these black role models from all different parts of industry. Actually talking with, I think we had about 60 black boys from all over the Manchester area. Just trying to boost and motivate their confidence, reinforce the need of education, and just be role models. Whilst there was a little bit of a program that was going on for about 6 weeks.
When the media came, did you feel invisible?
No.
Or visible?
I was very visible, because there is even outside my house.
With the boxing?
With the boxing.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah.
When the media came, no. Within the boxing, I kind of became invisible. I became invisible because, and this is not a negative to anybody else, but the person, one of the guys that actually I partnered up with, he was a big in the boxing game. So he used to box with like David Hay and Ricky Hatton and Amir Khan. So they was his literally bezies. So when they actually came, and at that time, David Hay had the heavyweight belt, Amir had the lightweight, and my man had the middleweight. So all of those belts hadn't been under one roof at any time ever. So even that became like a bit of a historical thing. But yeah, this was all on the back of my partner. He certainly influenced all of that. But yeah, I embraced that, and it was what it was. But the spotlight was on them.
You didn't get any accolades for this or anything?
No, I didn't. I got a picture, but even like when reporting on it, it was always da-da-da. It was never Curtis McLardie. You know what I mean? It was always...
What's happened with it most recently?
The thing is, it's been going from strength to strength. It's one of the busiest boxing clubs in the whole of England. The best thing the fire service could have ever happened within the confines of its four walls. And it services everybody within the community. We also have partnerships with the other services, like the military services and things like that. They come round and do recruitment days, invite people, maybe fund something. Andy Burnham's been down there quite a lot, because they believe it's a really good provision. So there's a lot of, honestly, huge positivity that has come out of the actual boxing club. Huge. And I don't even think the fire service really understand how big of an impact that it has made for the community, but also for the service itself.
Are you still a part of it?
No.
Because
I walk in when I'm in town. I'll go and do training sessions. Sometimes I might get invited to, you know, like a yearly gala or something like that.
But you were saying, like, you know, we have this happening, you know, a sense of ownership, but you've kind of like been shadowed and kicked out of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and you do, you know, like I watch things on YouTube, or somebody will say, like the other day, my friend got awarded by the king. He got an MBE, is it?
For the boxing.
Yeah, yeah.
And no mention of you.
No. And that's the out of the three of us, two of us have got an MBE.
And not you.
I haven't.
Who are the other two people?
No, that's Matt Dillon and Nigel Travis.
Okay.
They both got it. Even when we first opened,
Just wanted to be clear on that. So you talk about, you know, you started it. These two came along later. You're a black guy from the community. The other two white guys that are from other side of town or out of town, they've got MBEs and you've got nothing. And
it's that world, though, bro. It's that world. You know, if we're gonna think that we're gonna get noticed, you know, when you was a child, I'm sure your parent would always say, you know, you've got to work 10 times as hard as the next guy.
they all got to do that now.
Still got nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. And as much as I, you know, could stand at the highest point and scream down, you know, and say, I did it. Then they'll be like, oh, you're just full of ego, you. Oh, you're just did it. And you know what? And it's, to tell you the truth, I am not bothered about my name not being stamped or written in somewhere. But now, somebody kind of brought this up to me the other day. But it's about legacy.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And like, even like my children, they've seen, they've heard, they've been, they've experienced the things that I've done. And they're asking me questions, Dad, why you aren't? Yeah. So legacy is, I'm not egotistical in any way. Well, we all are a bit, but
it's not egotistical, but
you know, I don't want you to say, oh, you did this and you did.
No, but you did though. But the thing is, though, if you don't want nobody to say you did that, then you shouldn't be happy with anyone saying they did that. Because, you know, you did do that.
Yeah.
They didn't.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like, you know, coming from the communities that we come from, things like this happen a lot. And it's not just here in Manchester, you know, it's in the UK, it's worldwide. And it's always the case of like, you know, having to brush it off and, yeah, I'm not bothered. And it's like, we need to be bothered.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, if we don't, then when's it going to end? Because, you know, your kids and my kids might go and build something and then later on, you know, it's taken away from them again and other people get the glory and the riches. And it's like, yeah, I'm not bothered. It's like, well, look at their lives, look at yours. And it's like, you know, that should be yours. And it's not like,
I think the term "I'm not bothered" will unpack it, and I think it's just kind of like an excuse just to say,
can't be bothered fighting.
Just can't be asked fighting.
You see that?
Then many a time, some of the fights you just like, forget about it. You know, here we go again. It's the same freaking thing. You know, I can fight it today, and then I got to fight it tomorrow. And then, how much energy do you think I've got? And how much energy do you think I want to focus on fighting? All right, in the boxing club, yeah, but not fighting, you know, these social injustices and things like that.
Always a fighting.
Yeah.
There's always social injustice in every single industry. That's why I said this is the story that, you know, resonate with in every industry, because it happens, you know, it's happened to you with the boxing. It's happened to writers and filmmakers and musicians, a lot of musicians. And it's just that, like, you know, people don't get, you know, the credit and the accolades that they deserve. And if much as they don't get it, someone else gets it, and that's the problem. Someone else receiving off the back of their work, and that's where you're coming from. It's almost falls into, like, you know, again, slavery. You've done the work and the people are reaping the rewards. Thank you, Curtis. Now get out.
Yeah. Well, you know, the victor always gets to write the history. You know, those ones that are up there on the front page, they're always the ones that people are going to listen to their story. You know,
But they haven't got a story.
well, most of the time they're borrowing other people's stories and making their own, but they're getting away with it. And the thing is like the system is letting them get away with it, and nobody's being kept accountable, you know. And even then, when you want to kind of keep people accountable, oh, you're the troublemaker. You know what I mean? It's just like, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Good point you're making out with the word accountability is who should be accountable, because as much as these guys are getting awards and so forth, what background research was actually done into this before giving out them awards? Or were they just people just happy to give the awards to certain people that look a certain way?
Well, how the awards goes, people are nominated. Awards, people are nominated through the back channels. So,
did you get nominated?
Once.
Did you get nominated this time?
No. I got, when we first got the boxing club going, the first year, I think that's when we went to Parliament. We was invited to Parliament for the day, and we received, but this was as a group of 4 or 5 people. We received an award from the Queen for our community intervention. And then afterwards, we got an invite. I never got the invite though. We got an invite to go and have tea with the Queen.
Say they. You being nice here. They got an invite.
They got the invite. I didn't. Then after that, they got the invite again to get an OBE. And then of late, another one has got an invite to the OBE. And then they're getting invited to, you know, like MP dinners and whatnot, and things like that. You know,
it's that, and the thing is that you're still visible because you're still there doing work in there. So it's like when you said, yeah, you know, I go and do work. Then when you do work, like it's your place, like.
Yeah.
And now you're like, you know, I go and do work there at their place. It's not their place, like.
It's even like when we were starting the actual boxing club, we was doing, like I say, ABA. I was very community based. I put classes on for women because I was like, oh, there's a big gap here, women and older people. And even though we had a lot of kids coming doing ABA, my class was the busiest.
Because obviously you're the one that brings the community.
And then, you know, if you were seeing going down the parkway, 30 women, all different shapes, running down the parkway, and this one guy behind them, come on, you know what I mean? It was great. You know what I mean? And for me, I was very satisfied with that. And at that point, even then, I was being pushed out of being an ABA coach. So, like, when I've gone on the course, like, where's my certificate?
That was my next question. The coaching certificate you never got. Like, was that an accident or, you know, a message?
A message, really. Because I don't think it was any accident, because me and another partner went on that course.
There you got that.
He's going to the events. He's in the ring. He's with the kids. You need to be ABA qualified to be able to do that. You know what I mean? You got to go through all of the channels.
So you done that, but it just didn't give you a certificate.
I did all the work, did all the training, never got the certificate, and never went in the corner. You know what I mean? They you know, kind of even really pushed me away from kind of training the up and coming kids.
Follow the next question. Again, being pushed out from the kids sessions, was that a coincidence again?
Yeah, coincidentally on purpose, you know. But I was kind of happy with kind of like what I was doing. You know, I've got a great community set of classes going on. They're very busy, having a lot of fun with them. I'm still doing a lot of stuff outside. So I'm being a fireman and running this club and then still doing stuff outside. You know what I mean? Where I'm doing kickboxing, personal training and whatever. Also working with my organisation. So I was very busy. I was all over the place.
The women's class is exploding with popularity. Like, why do you think that worked?
I don't know. But all of my, let's say, when it comes to fitness, I have a lot of women. I have a lot of women clients. It always has been like that. Not to say that I am, I don't know, I just kind of attract a lot of women. Not saying that I'm good looking or anything like that, but maybe how I come across with them, how I actually work with them and train with them, maybe they're just very comfortable around me.
So you're running with women up and down Princess Road, yeah? Then you get told not to run with women outside now. Like, what does that symbolise to you?
Oh, they're jealous of what I'm doing. They don't like what I'm doing. And very much they use the health and safety act to try and say that you're not insured to be taking these people out there, and if anything happens, then this and this and this can happen, and that's the way how they justify it. But why they actually saying that I can't do it is because they don't want me to be seen to be doing it.
When did you realise that or notice that something has shifted?
Right at that time, from the fire service, from when we started the boxing club, that was very much when I really started seeing the cogs of the system turning and aligning to get me out. You know what I mean? Because honestly, there'd be complaints after complaints after complaints from people on the station, officers. It's come from anywhere. It never came from the community. Never.
Did you feel replaced?
Yes. Expendable, replaced. Yeah, not recognised. And it kind of spurred me on to kind of leaving the job, because I'm thinking, people close to you can treat you like this. Like I said to somebody the other day, if you find yourself in shit, are you going to stand there or are you going to run away? Best thing to do is run away.
Was it jealousy?
I don't envy. I don't know. I can't say be jealous.
No? Envy, but not jealousy.
Yeah, I don't think that be jealous, because everybody had more than I had. The only thing that I had was be able to communicate with people.
That's something that people need.
Yeah, and I know they need that, but like if me and you stood here, I'm going to be the lesser. You might have a nice ride. The people know you got a nice house. That you're doing these podcasts.
I haven't got a nice ride or a nice house. Just putting it out there. Like,
but you know what I'm saying? In comparison to the people who I was working with, they had a lot more than me. They were officers.
It's not always about physical items, though. Like, it's about the essence. It's about the aura. It's about the creativity. I mean, you've built something. The people love you. The people are in the building because of you. They come there because of you. And it's like, we need to get rid of this guy. Like, why? Because if we get rid of him, then they'll be coming for me.
There's people's egos, though, isn't it?
True.
You know, and I'm not gonna. I'm very easy to kind of like drop things and just move on. If you feel like I'm going to be outdone by this interaction with you, you know, it might have come all of this way. But if I can see if it's going a certain way, you know, I just, okay, have it. See you later. Because I know I can create something else somewhere else.
So, yeah, but...
Yeah, it is like, yeah, but... Yeah.
Why should we have to, though? It's that, like, you know, like...
If we could find people like ourselves, we'd be cool.
Yeah.
But right now, it's freaking less and less likely that you're going to find anybody like you. And, you know, you believe that you're honest, trustworthy, you know, you wear your heart on your sleeve, you know, you're transparent, you try to do the best thing for people, you're not screwing people over, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's hard.
Ticking all the positive boxes.
It's hard. Yeah, I agree.
But we're the ones that are always getting marginalised. You know, you've got to be this one. You got to be the demon. You got to be the bad guy. You got to and now you get... It's that Machiavellian philosophy, isn't it?
It's
you need to be feared.
Was race explicitly mentioned, or was it just implied?
Race was always mentioned.
Always
mentioned.
Okay.
I've heard trainers talk about the kids.
What?
Yeah, I've heard the trainers talk about other coaches. Because they're Asian or they're this, you know what I mean? Or, you know. The thing is, within the confines of that wall, it's like free speech. People say what they want. And there really is no consequences. Because I've had to pull up, you know, a couple of times my partners and just say, yo, that's unacceptable. And if you think like a white guy in this situation when you're trying to help this black boy, and you're thinking you're going to do X, Y, and Z, and I'm telling you, you do X, Y, and Z, this black boy is going to fail. Okay, I did X, Y, and Z,
Right.
and he failed. I told you. Why did we have to go all the way down there?
Yeah.
And also, you're not even your opinion is taken on board.
Can relate.
You know what I mean? So
sure, a lot of people can. Like, to my point.
It's what do we do with it? So all I can do, like I say, is just try to be a role model. I'm not talking so much. I'm actually going out there and doing it.
Yeah. Actions speak louder.
You know what I mean? So I can say, okay, yeah, I did that. Okay, you can see that I've got a wealth of knowledge in many different areas. I've not, you know, like they say it as a negative, a jack of all trades, a master of none.
Yeah.
That is the actual real term, is not a negative. It's actually a positive to say that you can fit into all of these different shapes and still come out and look at a new shape and fit into that. It's not that, you know, all of this idea of having qualifications and all of those things.
Yeah.
This is all a new thing. But even you know yourself, you can go and study all you want. Now you want to get into the industry or whatever it is. Now you got to throw that away and start from the bottom.
Start again, yeah.
You know what I mean? So starting over for me, I've started over many times. So to kind of walk away from a success or a nice environment or whatever for self-preservation, you know. starting over again. This is something I see as being, I get time to use my imagination again instead of being complacent.
Going to speak about a time when you got arrested. Being charged with £6 million worth of heroin and cocaine. What was your first thought?
Oh, my world crumbled because I hadn't expected any of it at all. It was just kind of like the people who I was hanging out with.
The friends that you was showing with.
Yeah.
Bridging the two worlds.
Bridging that world again. So I ended up being that bridge, and then end up being consumed by what they were doing. So in brief, I got caught in a house or in a flat where all paraphernalia was there. Not paraphernalia, sorry, where the drugs was there. And it was all hid. I've gone there for a personal reason. It's literally I went to go get a PlayStation. You know what I mean? Because I was at home. Me and my sister was only around the corner from this place where basically I used to use this flat when I had girls. You know what I mean? Because I was respectful to my household.
Yeah,
I wasn't bringing ladies home.
It's a common thing with guys like
So I had a place, or my friend had a place, and they just let me use it. And like I had my fire service stuff there, I had my helmet there, I had my boots there. You know what I mean? So guilty by association.
Yeah.
Type of thing. So yeah, when the place got raided, I was there, and people were coming in through windows, doors, all sorts. You know what I mean? And I was from this. I think it was about Christmas time because it was so cold. I remember it was so cold. I went to Stretford, got held up in Stretford police station. Because I think it was on the weekend, or it was like Friday or whatever. So I ended up having to spend the whole weekend
in the police cell.
You know what I mean? In the same clothes that I've got and whatnot. And it was cold. I remember, coughing up all types of stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just, I was quite calm because I was like, it's no problem here. I'm clean. But yeah, I spent 2 days there. Then I got released on bail. Then, the case, all the case notes come out, and then you're reading through the case and and I'm like, I'm nowhere in this. You don't see me anywhere, you know what I mean? And it's just about these other guys doing whatever. There's nothing in it. My legal team was like, Kurt, you obviously was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. You know what I mean? So the case was just built on that. Did no real evidence that I did anything wrong. I was clean as a whistle. It's just guilt by association, really. But then whilst the case was going on, one of the gentlemen who I was with on the court case came in late. The judge got the names mixed up, and then he just said, right, all of you's getting locked up. So then it's like just under 3 weeks I was in Forest Bank.
Yeah.
And this is all while still being a firefighter. So again, as I'm going through I'm already got a label for this. Now I've got a label for that. They already thought it was. So it's just like constant evolution of. I knew it was a bad egg. I bloody told you. You know what I mean? And then it's even like when I was in court, if you was a fly on the wall watching how the fire service was moving in the courts.
In the court?
In the courts.
They come there?
Yeah, what? Every day.
Wow. What is entertainment?
Every day. They're not talking to my side. They're talking to the other side.
Ooh, they're like, yeah.
They're like, it's like I'm trying to fight them as well.
Wow.
It was so shady. You know what I mean? And it was like, by many accounts, I was getting guilty. And like the judge said, yo, let me tell you, if you want to run this case, minimum you're getting out of this is 18 years.
Why?
Minimum. And you're going to serve every day.
Wow. Checking you're going to serve every day. Like, wow.
You know what I mean?
Right, you're hoping you're going to plead guilty.
Do you want to do a deal? I ain't doing no deal.
Wow.
But that's, yeah. And, you know, the fire service wasn't any help at all. If anything, they was helping the other side and hindering me. There wasn't much support at all.
What was prison like? What did it do to your mind?
First day I walked in, fucking cried like a baby. You know, I was like, this is just not.
You're like, how this happened? Like,
how, you know what I mean? I was in bed, my own bed the night before. You know what I mean? Now I've been on this sweatbox for hours and then you land me here. Because remember, Forest Bank also was a private prison. So that's the last one on the route. So even though you're going strange ways, would be the first stop. Then you go, I don't know, Warrington. Could be Preston, Blackpool. And then you come back to Manchester, Forest Bank. So, and this is how it was most of the days, if not every day when I was in court. Yeah. It was like about 3.5 hours to go from central Manchester to Salford because we're going everywhere else, private prison last. So, you know, it was horrible. It was horrible. And then, you know, I was on suicide watch for the first 3 days, 3 nights. Then they put a newcomer in who, again, he was on suicide watch for a whole, again, 3-4 nights. And I'm trying to prepare, read with depths, prepare for court, get washed, because I'm going to have to get up again at 5 o'clock in the morning. Because I need to be on the first one on the bus before they go around and collecting all the other ones. So I've got 3 hours in the morning. You know what I mean? And that was like that for 3 weeks. You know, I was happy for weekend. You know, because we had a TV. You know, you was basically locked up most of the time on the weekend. So yeah, it was an experience and a half. And, you know, I welcome the experience. Even when I was in there, I was like, I have to do 18. I got to do 18 years. Damn. You know what I mean? Just got to do it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to take my life in any way.
Yeah.
You know, I'm quite into my faith. You know, what will be, will be. I just accept it. It is what it is. But then, you know, at that time also, I met a lady.
Well,
you know what I mean? A Spanish señorita.
Oh.
And honestly, as I say, you know, she was my angel. Because she kind of, not that she took me by the hand and said, right, we're going to do this and do that and da-da-da-da. But on a soul level, she gave me all the motivation that I needed. And, you know, a lot of my prayers, a lot of my focus was my life with her. So that was all I focused on. But whatever happened, you know, I accept it all. You know what I mean? Yeah, that was my saving grace, because that kept me focused. That made me want to. She made me want to read. You know what I mean?
That's where you learned to read properly, yeah.
Seriously. Because my girl's a prolific reader. She choose books like big books like that. She'll be like, yeah, but 2 or 3 days. I'd be like,
That's 2 or 3 years. Like,
yeah, that's like a Bible. Took me 3.5 years to go through that.
yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, she kind of motivated me. And also she's a foreign girl. You know, I never, as a youth, I never seen myself living in England for the entirety. You know, we've always been focused on Africa, and just getting out of the West, you know?
Yeah.
And getting out of the West, you know, all this, you know, coming up Rasta, the Babylon ideology, we have to get out of the West and all of them things. Yeah. Definitely. So I could see this is the next step. You know what I mean? And like I said to her, you know, I never wanted to have children, because of certain things that had happened in my upbringing. I was dead against it. But then I says, look, if you want to, you know, we can, but I'm just not having them in England. Because going, you know, being a youth worker and things like that, I was like, there's just no way am I going to bring up my kids in this system.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it gears them up to fail. So we've got to get out of here. She's a teacher. She got a place within the Canary Islands. So for the first, when she went over there, I says, yeah, we're going, we're leaving, no problem, I'm on it. Just let me commute from the Canary Islands and I'll keep my job. So I did that for about 1.5 years, because like the boxing club was doing well. I had a lot of things that was kind of keeping me within the fire service, but not the fire service, you know what I mean?
Did any of your colleagues support you with the court thing? The arrest and case?
No.
None at all?
No. I can't name one of them.
When you got found, unanimously found not guilty, did that clear your name at all?
No, it just made it worse within the service. It just, you just got away with it. You know what I mean? And then they moved me from central Manchester to Bolton. And this was supposedly for my own safety.
For your safety?
And in the fear of reprisals.
In what way?
Reprisals because of what went on in the case, you know, and it being drugs and gangs, this, that, and the other. So yeah, there was a fear of reprisals. So this is why they put me over there.
So when you returned back to the station, you weren't welcome at all?
Oh no, because people, also because of the idea of reprisals, people didn't want to ride the pump with me in case that they become victims of my associations. So then that just brought another dark cloud over me everywhere I walked. People were just like, no, I don't want to be around this guy.
But it's a bad egg.
Mm.
Jeez, man.
Which, you know, in hindsight, I kind of understand that to a certain degree.
Yeah, like when it's put that way, but it's like it's been an ongoing thing, isn't it? Like,
But yeah, as far as I am, it's been ongoing. So it's just like you've got another excuse
yeah.
not to like me.
It's not a case of like, it's the star people, and then one day, oh, can't believe that happened. You know what, Curtis? Just for your safety. It's been a case. It's like, now we got a reason. Get out, Curtis. Yeah, get to Bolton. Speak about your personal life now with your partner. Your wife miscarried, and you asked for sabbaticals.
Yeah.
It was refused. How did that feel?
I couldn't understand it because there's people that I knew personally who had applied and got it granted, and I was like, why can't I get one? To tell you the truth, I wanted to leave the service, but I just wanted that cushion or that kind of like insurance policy that maybe I could take a sabbatical for a year or two and then come back, because there was a cap on it I think it was 2 years. So that's what I wanted to do. Go and, try this new life out in the Canary Islands, see what's going on, see how I can fit in, but still have that insurance policy. If nothing goes well, I can go back to the service. And that never happened. And then also with me giving them the reasons why, I was married at that time as well. And my wife was alone. They knew what I was doing. I was going back and forth for a while. But again, it's just like another knockback, just like all the others. And it really wounded me. It really did. That one really did wound me, because I thought the service would have some kind of compassion. We had just lost our first child, and that was at 5.5 months. So it's not like, it was, my missus was out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then subsequently, afterwards, we knew that we had there was some kind of problem somewhere, because both of my children are all born at 25 weeks.
Yeah.
Both of them. And even my niece is born just before 26 weeks. So there's something within my genome which makes these kids just come out quick. So, spending 3.5 months in hospital with, my kids, like my first boy, from head to his foot stretched out, met my watch strap. Yeah. That's with his feet stretched out. Yeah. And his skin was transparent. I could see his heartbeat. Yeah. You could see his bones, the redness and all of those things. Gift and a house. So yeah, 3.5 months twice. And then being also sometimes, first son, he was on another island. And because I was diving, sometimes I couldn't go because I had to fly. But when you're diving, you can't fly for days. So, there was a lot, I went through a lot of torture, and my missus was on the island with my son all the time. And I would just be kind of like coming back and forth. My second son, he was born on the same island, and, I was there every day. But, we went through a lot.
When your watch manager used racial slurs publicly, what broke inside you?
The last and final incident that I had before I actually left the fire service was with one of my my officer, and basically he would always refer to me as boy. You know what I mean? And I many occasions I've asked him politely, please, don't refer to me as that, because it's got this connotation on this is how I feel. I even put him on paper, you know what I mean? But it just still continued, where one day we went out on a job. We're in Old Trafford. And we got the police there. There's a lady that I know. And he's talking to me a certain way. He starts referring to me as boy again. But this is, when I say, he's just like asking for a bit of equipment. Yo, boy, go get me the ladder. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And like I've said to him, please don't talk to me like that. Yo, man, just go and get the ladder. And then, one of the police ladies who was there at the time who I knew, she's like, how does he get away with talking to you like that? And then that just raised my level up. And then I literally wanted to, I was literally dragging this guy into an entry with my helmet in my hand, ready to knock 10 bells out of him. And then it was only because I seen, a local youngster, that kind of, I flipped my switch and just held it down. And then it was just like riot on the fire engine going back, just cursing and because I was just going mental.
Better than me, I'd probably tell you that, because a lot of times I would have, I'm telling you, a lot of heads would have got punched in a long time ago. A long time ago, man. Imagine, boy.
Yeah, it's hard. And like I say, you're the minority there. And even because I'm very vocal, you know what I mean? I'm going to tell you, you've aggrieved me. I'm going to put you on paper or whatever, and, but then you still get seen as the bad guy. Like, I was listening, I went to the station the other day, and it is a gentleman, mixed race guy, who was talking to me about how he's complained about how another person had been spoken to, another black person in the job has been spoken to. And he's written it out for it to be investigated. He gets a warning. And he's telling me, and this was only the other day, and I'm like, how is it in this day and age that they've turned it out on you? I just couldn't fathom it.
How does he get a warning?
But yeah, because he put his head above the parapet and said that this guy had said something. And it's like,
there's a clear problem in there.
But it's the way the culture deals with itself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And unless you've got neutral people from the outside looking in, it's never going to be viewed a certain way where we're going to be able to say, oh, we're pleased with that outcome. It just doesn't happen.
Did you feel pushed out?
Yeah. Because I didn't get the sabbatical. That was and with the grievance that I put in the end, and with what I experienced within the fire service from the management, I certainly know that I was pushed out.
I feel like all the races, I don't know, that as well was all part of it too, to make you feel uncomfortable.
I think that was just a culture. That was just a culture of bastardization, because that's all that the service was. All those services are all about is bastardization. They're going to shout at you. They're going to they're going to make you, they're going to strip you down to the naked. And so, they build you back up stronger. this is what is their idea. You know, we want to build a good soldier, a better soldier, a strong soldier. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they're going to bastardize you. But then it kind of crosses the lines. Okay, now I'm a black guy, or I'm a black woman, or I'm a lesbian woman. Now you've got another angle to come at me from. You know what I mean? And then you've got all your people backing you up as well. So the culture it is what it is. It's just that we happen to step into their culture and think, oh, we wanna work with, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was resignation defeat or survival?
Resignation is a bit of both, because I wanted to do right by my missus, and really and truly, I wanted to leave the service after 10 years. I said that I didn't. My idea is just to keep changing, and don't want to be, oh, Curtis the fireman. No, I want to be Curtis. Right, he's done this, he's done that. Oh, you know what I mean? So like when I talk with people usually and I say, oh, I've done this, I've done that, I've got experience doing this, you know, most of the time people don't believe. Like, oh, how could you have done all of that?
Exactly, because you're not getting the accolades. That's the point.
Well, no, it's not the accolades and all of that. That comes with it. You know, that's a positive side of it. But let's say if I'm getting the accolades of doing the boxing, would that mean that I had to spend all my time there to receive those accolades?
Not necessarily, no. Because you've already put in what you put in, and you built the place. Like, you brought the community in. Like,
okay, right. So that should just be enough.
Yeah, you've done your part. Like,
yeah,
done your part.
But like with most societal things, they want your time, don't they?
I mean, for example, when you think about Microsoft, who do you think of?
Yeah, Jobs.
No, Bill Gates. Jobs.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Prime example, Apple. Who do you think of? Steve Jobs. Yeah, get it. You know, he done his part. We got his accolades.
Yeah. Do
you know what I mean? There's so many people that are doing whatever for Apple now and so forth, but they'll always remember Steve Jobs started this. Yeah. Curtis started this.
Yeah.
With his own equipment, his own time, brought in his own community. Right, you built the place.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's a perfect example of Steve Jobs. Because he's not even alive anymore.
True.
Never mind, like,
True.
Like Bill Gates is still around. You think of Microsoft, Bill Gates, but he don't work there no more. He's like, even when he did work there, he owned a small percentage of the business, and
he didn't do that much.
Exactly, but he started off the company, right?
Yeah,
he started. Like, you should have been down as a founder of the boxing club. And that's my point. Like, accolades, innit? So when you look back, your legacy, you've done that. People won't know you've done that unless
it's recorded.
Unless you tell them.
That used to be one of my frustrations is that, like, I could sit in a sauna and people would be like, oh, yeah, I went to the boxing club, and I'd be like, yeah. Which boxing club? Yeah, man, I started that. No, you didn't.
There you go.
Things like that.
That must hurt.
That pisses me off.
Right, this is my point.
Yeah.
And you can't even go on Google and go like, oh, because it's like, no, it's not your name. And that's my point. Like, no, something needs to be done because I started that. Like, that ring is my ring. Like, we talking about, like, it's got my DNA on it. Like, do you know what I mean? It's that right there. Like
even the guys that were on, that helped me do the thing, they wasn't even stationed at my side.
This is my point. Like, it was, well, you built it, man. And I think you should, fight and get that back because, the guys are taking your accolades and, you need to get your name stamped in it. I would, because I'm like, there's no way. Like, no way. Like, there's no way. It's like me writing a film script and then someone else taking it, making a movie. Like, yeah, it's mine. I'm like, I wrote that and it's based on me. Like, do you know what I mean? I can't just accept it no, I wrote that. Like, I put in time and spent how long writing it? Like, I need my credit. Do you know what I mean? Even if it's a joint, it's like, still give me my credit. Don't just, hide me away.
Yeah, recognition,
Is that?
gratitude goes a long way. But, we're just not going to get it in this day and age. We've got to really fight for our legacies. But then on the flip side of it, sometimes you're going to be consuming a lot of energy trying to do that. And are you ready to do it?
Got to do it. The thing is, though, you do it, and they're like, oh, I'll do it. And it's like, oh, Sonny will do it, and they're like, oh. Then our kids come and they go, yeah, just give it to them. Because they're going to fight. We can't just steal from them anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts right there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
People, no one likes fighting. So when they know that you're going to fight, they're like, do you know what, forget it. It's like bullies. Bullies get away because they're bullies. But the moment they know people are going to fight back, no one wants to fight. I just want to, get my way.
Yeah.
So you start there, like just, taking what's yours, because you're setting an example to everyone else too. Imagine, you went and fought for it now. There's a story in the paper now about you getting back what's yours. There's going to be people all over this country now that are like, I'm getting mine for what I've done and so forth. Like, I don't really care if it was 15 years ago. Like, getting it. Like, we need
it can spur and motivate other people.
What it does now, it inspires rather than reading up like, oh, we've got a lot of, I'm going to use the word leaders then, but that's not even that. We've got a lot of black characters, that are like, or influential characters, from gangster rap or the other gangster, then it's like, actually, the other community leaders. And that's what you are, community leader.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? But you're not being recognized for that. And it's that because it inspires others, the firemen, like, the firemen, you're a community leader. And it's like, we need more of that. Because when you was telling the story now, I thought, we don't really hear about firemen. You don't hear nothing about firemen careers joining the army. There's not like firemen, these things in the community. And I thought, we need that. We need more of that in the community because it inspires others. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Either firemen, maybe they're below the black boys that are firemen now.
You're right, yeah. And there actually is.
Well, this is it.
I mean,
do you know what I mean? But again, it's that. It's leading the way. But again, you're like, look what he achieved. If he achieved that, then I can achieve that. Well, if he didn't, then people are like, I ain't going to bother. Like, it's the point. They're only going to steal it off me in the end or, just use me.
Yeah.
And they start fighting for what's yours. So let's talk about Lanzarote. Was that reinvention or escape?
Both again. Both. Because it was escaping England and reinventing myself. And certainly enjoyed it. It was like somebody had took the table and just flipped it right upside down. And I was just, everything was just a total opposite. I've gone to the warm. I used to live in the cold. You know what I mean? I needed a load of money. I didn't need anything.
You used to fight fire. Now you're playing water.
Now I'm playing with water.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually, like, a lot of my wife's family was like, it's just you're going to find it impossible for work. You know what I mean? No, because in Spain, unemployment numbers are huge. Yeah. Contracts are never seen. Contracts are never seen anywhere. Nobody wants to pay a contract because they take the piss, don't they?
Yeah.
With sickness and things like that. They'll be on sickness for months. You know what I mean? And there's nothing nobody can do about it. So the people are getting... So, they've got their own social problems. So I was told that I'd never, it's just going to take you forever. But like with me flying back and forth all the time, one time I got on the plane and this guy was like having like a mini heart attack or something. You know what I mean? But he must have had a drink, something like that. So I'm being a trauma technician, ambulance crew of a higher level. I was, just kept inquiring, when I'm going to the toilet, like, how are you doing? You all right? Blah, 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 blah. And just advising him. And then it's like the air hostesses wasn't doing anything for this guy. And they just got him sat by the door. It was freezing cold. So I said, yo, man, best thing you do is get up and come and sit next to me. You know what I mean? I'm a paramedic to do this, do that, da 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 da. So this guy was a bit of a well-to-do guy as well. So I was taught, he came, sat next to me. So throughout the whole flight, you know, I'm checking up on him and advising him on health and things like that. What could be the possible problems and Ray. And then I told him, you know, I'm a fireman and I'm moving to the islands. I'm just looking work right now. And then he's just gone like that. Here's a card. Phone this number. Tell him I told you. Or that I've sent for you. Yeah, so you just take that card and they'll sort you out. So from me doing that, I ended up getting my job in diving. Because I called the number up. It was the diving company. They didn't need, but because this guy said, I ended up getting a contract with them, which nobody's giving out contracts.
Contract.
You know what I mean? So I ended up being a paddy diver. So I was doing all the holiday people on holiday and vacation and all diving and things like that.
Did the ocean feel freer than the station?
Loved it. Because you couldn't talk. You know what I mean? Underneath the water, you can't talk. Nobody's listening. And nobody can hear you. You know what I mean? You got this breather in your mouth and everything's just done by hand. And it was just like, it was another it's another box I was ticking. Because from young, I've always had an idea. I want to conquer all the elements. You know what I mean? I want to have mastered air, land and sea. You know what I mean? So I'd ran marathons and done that with ease. You know, I went New York, I went Boston, did Manchester loads of times, all over the country for the fire service again.
Oh, okay. Did you get your accolades again?
No. If anything, I got cursed. You shouldn't have gone. It was like one of them type of things. Yeah, but I ran that and I finished. What's up with you? And I finished in the top, 100 or whatever. Well, it's not good. You was on the sick. Oh, whatever. I mean, always an excuse. So, yeah, right. So I ended up going into diving. Then I met up with a Russian guy on the island who happened to have the same birthday as me. So we just became best of friends. Still doing Thai boxing, instructing. He wanted to fight. So we ended up coming together. He had a bit of change. I had the skills and whatnot. And we created a gym as well. You know, so yeah, everything would just kind of kept fitting into place like a jigsaw. We even was given a gym.
Nice.
By a lady who had just got I think she had just become a grandmother, and she was like, I trust you guys.
Don't trust my kids and
you know what I mean? I don't trust you. She's been doing well over there and I like how you roll. Do you want to manage this gym? And we were like, yeah. Within the first month, my missus got we had to move to another island. You know what I mean? From when I actually received this gym, we had to move to another island. So that kind of put a stop to that. But I did 3.5 years of diving. 3-4 dives a day.
Mad.
I tell you what a life. What a life. Hard work.
Yeah, I bet.
Them tanks are heavy, especially when you got a group of people, like group of 8 people, like you're taking on a diving excursion and you got to get all of their equipment down.
It's not for me, the water. Not for me.
Oh, it's you get used to it.
Not me. Yeah, it's just not me that I'm like, just stop. Nah. Some things that not me. You chose to be a stay-at-home dad. Was that healing?
Yes. The best decision I've made in life.
Yeah.
Definitely. To like I said, if we were gonna have kids, you know, she was a professional teacher. You know, I was professional at doing fuck all, really, doing everything. Do you mind if I swear? Okay. Jack of all trades, master in none, and all of that. So I was happy to. And like the thing is, I already had form for it because I brought up my two sisters.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? My mum worked 2-3 jobs. So, like when I say I was a chef, babysitter, big brother, husband, cleaner, you know what I mean, electrician. You know, they used to call me African BT. I was putting in BT, you know, remember the extension cords when they first came out, BT, British Telecom.
Yeah.
And they had those, you could buy those box sets where you can extend it so you could have a phone in the other room.
Oh,
Yo, I used to do that when I was like 13, 14.
yeah.
So I'd be going round and putting in extension cords in people's houses. So, you know, I've just been always just picking up all types of things, just keeping me
Trades, like, yeah.
But seriously, fathering and being an in-house all the time dad, best thing ever. And remember, I had a premature child.
Just gonna say,
So it's like everything was on eggshells.
what did that teach you, having a premature child?
Teaches you patience. Yeah, and you know, actually seeing the things that they're having to go through, you know, it takes you. Sorry, you are in a dark place, you know, because life is fragile. You know, anytime I was in hospital for that amount of time, the kids that came out of hospital all left with a problem. You know, whether they needed a breathing aid or whether they've had 2 or 3 operations or, you know, they've had to have a bypass or whatever. My kids never had any of that. And I've put that down to the love. You know what I mean? And yeah, just really being there. So being a father has been the best thing ever. And I find it hard to leave my children.
Your wife was left disabled. How did that redefine you as a man?
Redefined our whole relationship. You know, because even like when after the second child, you know, I couldn't even touch my wife because she was in chronic pain. She still is in chronic pain every day, all day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So just like getting in the bed, you know, because it was a leg. She ended up having a tumor in her leg. And whilst you're pregnant, you're osteoglasting. So basically you're making and breaking bone 6 times the rate of you normally are because you've got, you're making another within you. So if you have any tumours, cancers, ailments or anything like that, usually they just like quantum leap into the worst stage that they can be. You know what I mean? So she was diagnosed with having a tumour whilst being pregnant. And these, you know, there was certain information that was given over and we had to kind of like make choices. Like my choice was, you know, get rid of the child.
Yeah.
And just, you know, let us try and live a normal life. We can have a child later on. But I understand how, you know, you've got this emotional and physical connection as a woman to the child that doesn't really matter what I say. I can only say what I'm saying and then the final decision is down to her. So she ended up keeping our child, but then having to go through surgery without having anaesthetic, painkillers, they're going into a bone and all of this. So, you know, it's like my appreciation for my wife was like, yo, this girl's unbreakable. You know, it doesn't, I couldn't go through that. So, you know, I was just facilitating. So that's what I was. I was just facilitating, you know, her daily life, the child's daily life, and then the bigger child's daily life, as well as me trying to juggle my own side hustle, which was personal training. I built a gym in the house. Yeah, it was a lot. It was hard. And since, you know, she's had many other operations, a lot of the things that was promised has never, you know, all right, you're going to keep this prosthesis for 10 years. You know, within 4 years, you're having to change it. So then she's having to go under the knife, and, you know, so the trauma between all of the surgeries and, you know, what's going on between us both is we've been through a lot. We've been to hell and back, and now she's having to suffer as well, which for me as a man, you know, all I could do is just try and be there as much as possible. And, you know, make sure things are within the household as easy as possible. I mean, which a lot of frustrations and things like that, you know, it didn't really work out like that. You know, but we've had some really harsh situations. And then, you know, we're there, we've got no family. There's nobody to rely on. Nobody to help.
So it's tough one. Tenerife, did that save you?
I feared it. Feared Tenerife because it was a bit of a mountainous island, and Lanzarote is a flat island.
Yeah.
You know, very sporty. Lanzarote, literally, I lived on the beach. My apartment was literally on the beach. You know, you've got those pathways all the way around, haven't you?
Yeah, yeah.
And there's literally, you can go around the whole island on these pathways on a bike. So I would take my kid out, child seat, we'd go everywhere. You know what I mean? When gone to Tenerife, everything was like that. You know, even like pushing the pram back from the supermarket with a full shop was just like, no, I don't want to go that way. So I'm going to go around the long way. So it just took a lot of getting used to. It was a lot busier. A lot more going on. You know, it was it's like moving from the village to the capital. But at least I was still in the sunshine.
Yeah.
So that was great for me. But yeah, it's start all over again. Do I want to do diving? Nope. You know what I mean? Because it was too far to go. I lived in the north, and to go diving, working in the south was no. And in the north, the diving was crap. There was nothing to see. So I wasn't interested. So I just went back into my fitness. I was just delivering Thai boxing, doing personal training. That's my side hustle.
Side hustle. Yeah. Careful with that word around the firemen.
Oh, yeah. They always had one.
Speaking of the firemen, let's talk about your return. So you came back to the UK, meeting Chief Dave Russell. Did that feel like validation?
Yeah, because I was actually invited to come back because the fire service, the boxing club was being awarded for something. And, the chief was there, Andy Burnham was there, all his secretaries were there, somebody from a boxing association. Basically, it was just being highlighted that, this community intervention was the best. So I was told about it, and I just happened to be in England at the time. So when I came, I spoke to the chief because it was like, oh right, yeah, that was it. No, I let him in. Yeah, so I answered the door to the chief. We've walked across the yard, and I've asked the chief. I says, how's it going within the service? Boom, boom, boom. And he's like, yeah, it's great, And then, it'd be great if you could come back. And I was like, oh, I says, is that really possible? Because I didn't think that I could come back or that you'd even want to receive me. He goes, nah, with what you've done, he goes, you definitely apply. So I was like, oh, okay. Young guy, things are changing. Make I try. So I tried. Went on all the open day courses, which again required me to come and fly back and forth. Cost me a lot of dough. Went through everything. Went all the way through up to interview. Passed everything. On the interview day, there was an Asian lady there out of HR. And she came over, she goes, I'd just like to inform you, some of these interviewees know you, but they won't be interviewing you. But she said this now in front of all of the guys that are coming for an interview.
Hey.
None of them knew that was a firefighter beforehand. So now all the questions come out. Oh, did they know you? How did they know you? Oh, you was a firefighter. Oh, right. Blah, blah, blah. So why you do it? So rather than now me focusing on my interview, I've now wondering who is the persons that know me.
Yeah.
And now I'm answering all of these questions. So did the interview. I think my thing was like, why am I even doing an interview? And I told him that beforehand. Why am I doing an interview when I've done the job before and I've done it to a high standard and I've got this and this and this and this that says I've done, worked over and above and done exceptional. So why am I doing an interview? Anyway, do it. So then the outcome, I failed the interview. Like, how did I fail the interview? Oh, we'd just like to inform you failed, and if you want to know what you can do better, you can call this number, this, that, and the other. If you want feedback. So I'm like phoning, I want some feedback. On how, why is it that? What did I fail on? What did I pass on? So there's not even like a criteria. Like if for your first interview, you could have got 10 points, so you would have got 8 or whatever.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything really like that. Say why I had failed.
What did they say?
This is what I'm explaining. This is what they couldn't really explain why I failed. All they could say was that I failed.
So why tell you to ring the number?
You get me? You get me? Seriously, it was. I think the aftercare service there is non-existent, bro. And the thing is like, I had promised certain things You know what I mean? To myself and to my kids, because I was like, I've got this in the bag. I'm like, yo, if I get this job next year, we're going on this holiday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the missus is feeling, pretty confident and whatnot. And then when I got that, honestly, it shattered my world. Because really and truly, something in the background had always been telling me, why are you stepping back into this?
I was going to ask you, like, why you apply?
You know what I mean?
Was it for the money at the time? No?
I was coming back and forth to England because of my grandma. She's 90 odd years old. At the time, nobody was really looking after her, and it was killing me to see her the way that she was. So I would spend 2 weeks out of the month and come and be with my grandma, and then go again 2 weeks to be with my boys. And me and my wife decided that I could do this because she had previously done this with her mother. You know what I mean? Her mum was going through a long-term decline. And yeah, she did her bit, and I was like, yo, I need to go and do my bit now. And she was like, yeah, man, go and do it. So, I was doing that, and then it was like, okay, that this job could work with this as well. And then, everything's plain sailing. You know what I mean? And also I get a decent payout of it, and also I can top up my pension.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's in essence why I did it. It wasn't a long-term goal or anything like that, because I very rarely go back on anything that I've done. It's just that the opportunity came. One, the chief was telling me, inviting me to come back. One of my good friends who I helped get into the service, he was like, come back, we need you, you know what I mean? The boxing club, I wanted to get back into that. And, whilst doing all of that, everything was kind of all coming together.
Just get back into the boxing club, like the one that you started. Start again, like
you get me.
You've been kicked out.
So it was a huge slap in the face. And I didn't really take him to task over it neither.
How come?
Because I just thought, I just couldn't be asked.
Oh, I'm done enough with these. Did it feel orchestrated?
I just felt that I had just wasted a load of time and money that I didn't really have.
Exactly. You're getting invited, but like, yeah, come, we need you. Like, yeah, you're great. The service you've done, going through the whole process. And then it's like, yeah, the interview guys, to know you. Like, yeah, but they're not going to be interviewing you. And then you don't get it. And then there's no feedback. It's like,
yeah,
he's wasted my time. Like,
it was a huge waste of time. And the thing is, it wore on our relationship, because going back and forth, now she's having to do more, and she's also in pain all day and things like that. So I felt like a huge failure. Seriously, I felt like I really, really failed. But it was like sand in your hands. As much as you want to try and close, and it's still escaping. There's nothing I could do.
It's a deeper knowledge of that.
You know what I mean? Nothing I could do. It was just going through my hands. And then I was really, really angry.
What did your friends say about it? The one that were there saying, we need you to come back.
He couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe it at all. But he himself, he knows, because he's going through a load of stuff. The Asian guy, I've been helping him for the last however long. We've always been, at the end of the phone and listening to his problems. But then again, I have a couple of firefighters. I am a person that they can come and confide in, and I'm not going to, take it anywhere else. But they know that I've been through some kind of situation, so they think I would most probably be the person that can listen to them and advise them, empathize with them. So yeah, a lot of the guys. One of the guys that I helped get in the job, helped him fill out his application form and all of that, was one of the guys that was on the recruitment. But he had no power over the recruitment process, because he was at like the front end, actually getting people in. You know what I mean? So, but he couldn't believe, and I believe at the moment he is actually on long-term sick because of some kind of racism that's going on. Yeah, right. No, at the moment within the fire service, there's quite a few issues of racism that, if I could freely talk about them, they'd open quite a few eyes. But because they are, private conversations that I've had with people, I can't really embellish. But, the fire service really is it was a dinosaur back then, and it's still a dinosaur now.
New age. You said it felt like being under the water. Can you explain a bit more about that? What was the situation?
Well, like I say, diving. You can shout and shout, nobody's listening. And really and truly, it's not the environment to talk. It's not the environment to listen. And only until you can get out of the water, you can finally be recognized. But if you're held under that, all you can do is wish.
And drown.
You know what I mean? But that's one thing I refuse to do, is drown. So I'm just holding my breath.
How did you cope with it all? Any coping mechanisms or anything?
I smoked a lot of weed, and that's the only thing I've ever done. Other than that, I take a lot of risks. I do risky sports. I do paragliding. You know what I mean?
That's risky.
I was doing free diving. That's really risky. But I'd never had no fear like that. I don't really fear death.
Even more risky.
Yeah, I don't fear death. So it's just like, the only thing I fear is leaving my boys with no dad. That's the only thing that I fear. But other than that, I'm ready to try anything. Even paragliding. Not so long ago, I watched my own instructor fall out the sky.
Yeah.
My best friend's son.
And he still don't stop you.
Wow. I fell out the sky. You know what I mean? And I was still going. You know what I mean? Wow. Because,
wow.
I can tell the tale.
I hear that. Did anger leak into your relationship?
Yeah. I was a very angry person.
Who were you when you were able to be yourself?
Pardon?
Who were you when you were able to be yourself? Who were you?
I will say I can only be myself when I'm on my own. Because I have kind of got a facilitator life. I'm always doing something for somebody else. So the only time I say, you know, like, who am I? So I'm on my own. It's a lonely place. It's not nice, but it is what it is. I would like to be. I'd like to be loved more and things like that, you know. But you dealt the cards that you got. You know what I mean? What you're gonna do with them? All you can do is promote what you want. You know what I mean? So if you want somebody to say good morning to you in the morning, when you wake up every morning, say good morning to everybody that you come across.
Yeah.
And then it will eventually come to you.
Yeah.
But patience also plays a big part in that.
Have the fire service traumatized you as well? So
yeah, I don't trust people. I have been traumatized by the incidences that I've been to. My wife can tell you all about that. You know, waking up in the middle of the night, cold sweat, screaming, you know, really bad nightmares. The social and cultural things within it, you know, it is a big part of your life when you're actually in there. And knowing that you can be in some of these dangerous situations where you can't trust the people that you're around is not positive or productive. Yeah.
What would justice look like to you?
Yes, justice. Just recognition. You know, it's not that I want an MBE. Not really that bothered. If they wanted to give me one, they give me one, whatever. It's just about recognition. I just want to be confident that my conversations that I've had with people, conversations that I've had with my children, that they see the truth in the conversation, as in, you know, there's legacy for them to see, oh, daddy did do that and daddy was this, you know what I mean? It's just like me saying, oh, daddy was a firefighter. Yeah, look, the uniforms in the basement, we'll go and put it on, and, you know, it's that small. I'm not looking no big titles or anything like that. It's just recognition.
Do you want an apology, refund?
Again, with the service and all of that, you know, as far as trying to get back into the service, I would like to be acknowledged again. Yeah, it would be great if I got, you know, the option to say, okay, we'll honour this or not honour it. Not that I would take it, because, you know, you could invite me back into the fire service tomorrow. I'll be like, no, mate, I'm interested.
Don't blame you.
Yeah. But yeah, even, you know, refund back all the money I spent, all the time that I spent. You know what I mean? Other than that, they can't do anything for me.
Reform within the fire service?
The reform, it certainly needs doing. because there's a lot of people there that are suffering, and it's not fair. And I do think it just leads to a lot of mental health problems, especially in a group of people where mental problems are high.
Yeah.
You know, we don't need to add to it. You know what I mean? We don't need to add to it. So here is a career that kind of spouts masculinity, or back in the day, you know, they took all of that out. But men in that environment, you know, they are emasculated. So I do think that we should be helping to keep and reinforce that, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I think the management itself needs changing. I think there should be an outside body that works with all the services to make sure that we get an equal chance, and also that we are heard as black males or mixed race, different colour, whatever. I think that's definitely something that we need. And again, men within the service, they need support, especially in this environment at the moment where we are the lowest of the low. You know, we've got white males at the lowest of the low, but then even under that, we've got black males. You know what I mean? We're beaten up by the white males in there. So, you know, we do need to assist and support more and get away from all of this tick boxing, because all it does is create more statistics, and are those statistics saving deaths? Are they saving men from being abused in their own home or even at work? It's not doing it. So I do think reform definitely within the workplace as a whole. There needs to be an overhaul.
Would you recommend young black men to join?
No.
No.
No, because I wouldn't want to be responsible for, you know, I've said to you something, or I've promoted something to you, and now that's something that's now eating you up. And that doesn't sound like something positive. And every environment or organisation or whatever job has its pros and cons. But me personally, I would not promote the fire service to anybody of colour.
You say it's institutionally racist?
Definitely. It's institutionally racist, institutional bigots, institution that does not want to change.
Do you forgive anyone?
Do I forgive anybody? Good question. I forgive one of my partners because I'm sure he didn't mean to do some of the things that he did. But he was just focused on a certain goal, and
getting ahead
is you know, that's selfish is harsh, but it was all about self. So I suppose I would let's say, you know, take an apology or whatever, or forgive them for the things that they've done. But in the general, no, you're responsible for the shit you throw.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think this is where we need to be accountable. If we take responsibility for the shit that we throw, you know, we're actually helping ourselves and helping the person who you threw the shit at. So we can both make amends. We can both rise out of this positively. you know.
If Mos Eisley wrote your name in history, what would it say?
Fireman.
Fireman.
A fireman. Yeah. Energetic, young guy, wanting to assist and help wherever he could, and always strive for greatness. Certainly a community player.
There you go. I was going to say that.
Certainly.
If the boxing club never mentioned you again, would your peace survive?
Yes, it has to. Because I am not defined by that one intervention that I had made, because I've made many interventions. That is just one of many, and was a really good, strong one. But no, I myself consider being undefinable. I've always said if I'm going to do a job, I'll do it for no more than 10 years. And just keep changing and keep changing. You know what I mean?
Job, but you built it. Like, how long has it been there now? Over 20 years.
18 years.
18.
Yeah, so
nearly 20 years.
Yeah.
20.
Yeah, it's 20 years. Yeah, it's 20 years this year.
2026 now. Yeah. 20 years. Again.
20 years.
2 decades. Long standing and something that you built. Like.
Yeah, no, and it's still there.
Exactly.
I can still enjoy it, and what can I do, mate? What can I do?
Fight for it. Something can happen.
But it's like fighting to get what. All I want is, my name.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's it.
Legacy.
Because it's your name. Like, you built that, and that's it. Like, it inspired other people. Yeah. Who's years to come by, you pass away, the young kids of the next generations can see, like, started by Curtis McLardie. Who's Curtis McLardie? Go and research who Curtis McLardie is. He was a community player. Didn't just build the boxing gym. He's also a fireman, took part in this, it's that, We read about a lot of people in this day and age that didn't do nothing. They just stole other people's legacies. And we learn about them in schools.
Yeah.
We got to put a stop to that.
Yeah. No, I hear that.
Who are you today without the uniform?
I'm a free person. I do what I want when I want. I don't have a boss. I have a great network of people from all environments, and I'm well respected in my communities, and I always give 100%. In a way.
Are you proud?
If I died tomorrow, I'd be happy. I would be happy at the things that I've done, how I've impacted people, the things that I've achieved. I'm more than content. So yeah, I'm a happy person.
Good.
But I'm also a troubled person. I'm still fighting a lot of demons with things like that. But if I went tomorrow, I'd be happy with the work that I've done and the people that I've impacted. So, there's a lot more work to do. The journey is a long one. I just turned 50 the other day.
50, man. So you go, man. Like,
yeah,
it's a big achievement, that.
And I've got another 100 years to go.
There you go, man.
So, this is us first part out of the way. Bring on the next.
You've brought some products here that are on the table here. Please tell us a little bit about these products that you've bought.
All right, yeah. Now, I've gone down these organic routes of diet, nutrition, and lifestyle and things like that. This is all because of what I went through with my children.
Okay.
Because it couldn't put chemicals on the skin. It couldn't be putting milk and all of that in their bodies. You know, I was always searching and researching different products. So I made their baby's bottle out of sea moss and coconut. And, you know, because they would have been lactose intolerant, putting that in a young fetus, not even a baby yet, you know what I mean, would have burnt holes in them. So then, you know, I dealt with the diet. I look at the nutrition. Looked at the nutrition. So then I look at the things that are in their environment, things that we're putting on the skin. So then it spurred me into, you know, soaps and creams. So yeah, I do soaps, creams, shampoos for the hair and the body. Everything's made with organic ingredients: shea butter, coconut, olive oil, aloe vera, sea moss also. Okay. So as I know as a self-taught nutritionist, your biggest organ is your skin. So anything that you put on your skin you should be able to eat that also. If you can't, don't put it on your skin.
That's something else. I learned that as well from my mum, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like, I think she needs to practice more as she preaches. But you know, anything that you can't eat shouldn't go in your skin, or these chemicals, cocoa butters and stuff. It's like
exactly.
It's just pure coconut oil. The same thing you put in your food and hair and skin. It's that kind of stuff.
So, you know, I've had, I'd, like I say, do soaps, do creams. I get all my shea butter from Gambia in Africa.
Gambia.
So I go out there and bring a lot back. Had really good reviews on my products. Had women, children, psoriasis.
Nice.
It's actually quite caring for the skin.
Eczema,
psoriasis, anything like.
I'm gonna have to guess
any base like that, because the chemicals don't irritate. It actually soothes the skin. You know what I mean?
Where can people get these products?
See Macare. My name is cmacare.shop is where my web
SEA.
No, CMACARE. Curtis Macare.
CMACK.
Yeah, look on the actual product at the bottom.
CMcares.shop.
Yeah.
CMcares.shop. People.
Yeah.
CMcares.shop. You can get these products from Curtis.
Yeah.
These are organic. See, you got a love heart on them.
Yeah, it's all about love. That's all I'm out here spreading is love.
They're made with love.
Made with love, promoting love, and, you know, I expect my products to love you back.
That's it, man. I'm gonna be trying these out most definitely. Put them on the kids.
Yeah.
So Curtis, for a really in-depth conversation, it's been a journey. It's been some of the easy one. Question I pose to everybody all the time: are we there yet?
No, I'm not there yet. But, you know, it's one of those things we're always working on. The journey's a long one.
Exactly.
And even when you think you're there, you're going to look back, then look forward and see that the road keeps going. You know, just be flexible enough, honest enough, transparent enough, and, you know, the journey will open up to you.
You're the 14th person I've interviewed on this platform.
Wow.
And I've posed this question to every single person. And only one person has said that they're there yet. Said they're there. Yeah. Like, yeah, only one. Well,
And then they got home and then realised that they're not there.
not even reached 30 yet. But anyway,
Wow.
one of them.
Yeah.
Life is a journey, man. So yeah, I'm not there yet. Far from it. But we're
Well,
getting there.
that's, you know, Jesus Christ spent 40 days and 40 nights where?
There you go.
In the darkness.
In the darkness,
You know what I mean? To find,
the light.
you know what I mean?
So yeah,
So when we're in the darkness, we know we're in the right place.
it took
The light is the easy stuff.
took Jesus to 40 days. It might take me 40 years, but I'll get there.
Well, if it takes you 40 years, you know,
Takes 40 years.
it's meant to be.
Hey, I'm
It's
40
your
right now.
journey.
I'm 40 right now. But hey,
Yeah, you're 40 now.
yeah, 40 now. So, you know, I came but again another 40 years and maybe I'll get there. Like, yeah, you know, maybe. So, you know, it's a journey
Thank you.
in this life or the next. But again, I appreciate you for coming on,
All
man.
right, thank you, my brother.
Share everything that you have. Emotional. What can I say? What a man, a community player. People. Again, if you liked what you've seen today, then please don't waste any time. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Also, as well, we've got memberships on the channel as well, where you can obviously, we've got different tier packages with the memberships. But the highest package we've got gives people the ability to be here in the studio live while we're recording our sessions. Also, you can also tune in live with a live feed, again, for our members too, while we're recording live, rather than waiting for the following coming weeks for the episode to release. Again, thank you all for tuning in. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll be there.